Pick up your copy of the Son of Man Speaks magazine today. With the Son of Man Speaks magazine, you'll receive automotive tips, wholesome recipes, financial advice, and most importantly, a true understanding of the Word of God. Get your copy of the Son of Man Speaks from these select locations. Sisters, Brave 2, 18070 Mount Elliott, the Shell gas station, 13110 West 7 Mile Road. To get a subscription, call 601-786-9788. That's 601-786-9788. The Son of Man Speaks magazine, dedicated to becoming free indeed.
Attention, brothers and sisters, viewers and listeners, now available. Your Son of Man Speaks magazine digital subscription. Your digital subscription to the Son of Man Speaks magazine will also include our monthly e-newsletter, both delivered to your inbox. If you have any questions regarding the digital magazine subscription or digital newsletter, you may send an email to shabazprinting@thenewnationofislam.com. That's shabazprinting@thenewnationofislam.com. Or call 1-601-786-9788. That's 1-601-786-9788. You can also subscribe online. Visit www.thenewnationofislam.com and click on the magazine tab to register for your online subscription.
We would like to invite you to help support the efforts of the Unity and Rebuilding Fund. Visit the website at www.unityandrebuildingfund.com. That's www.unityandrebuildingfund.com. We often hear how we need to work together to rebuild the city, and we're actually doing it. You can make online donations and click on links to track the progress of the Unity and Rebuilding Fund. And for more information, 313-868-0000 is a local number. Again, 313-868-0000. Support the Unity and Rebuilding Fund.
To make your online tithes, offerings, donations, gifts to the Son of Man through Cash App, make your payment to $New Nation of Islam. That's $New Nation of Islam. Or call 601-786-7056. 601-786-7056.
The Curls and Combo Natural Hair Summit is a 5-hour jam-packed event that serves to empower our community along their hair journey. You will have access to a host of licensed hair care professionals and beauty experts under one virtual roof. By creating the Curls and Combo Natural Hair Summit, I aim to break the norms set by society and redefine beauty standards for melanated individuals. Through Designs by Deej and this movement, the Natural Hair Summit, I am dedicated to providing a space that boosts confidence and self-love while championing the natural hair movement. Together, we empower one another to embrace the beauty of our unique hair textures and melanin-rich skin. Consider this your formal invitation to attend the 3rd annual Pearls and Combo Natural Hair Summit. Grab your ticket and join us Saturday, October 19th, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. See you there. Have you ever searched through a shelf full of greeting cards and still couldn't find the one that echoed how you felt? Well, search no more and call Designs by Deej. We offer birthday cards. Our cards are one-of-a-kind keepsake items that your recipient will want to place on their mantle with all of their other beautiful and treasured items. We also offer holiday cards. With Designs by Deej, no holiday will go unnoticed. Our unique greeting cards are sure to celebrate all holidays. We also have cards for special occasions. We are your one-stop shop for unique and three-dimensional, handmade greeting cards for all occasions. Specializing, we also take custom orders. Every card is crafted with care and made with love. So call Designs by Deej today at 601-451-9536 or visit our website, www.designsbydeej.com.
Year-Around Landscaping has been serving Metro Detroit for over 20 years, offering various landscaping, lawn care, property maintenance, and home renovation. Our professionalism has earned us an outstanding reputation, while our creativity, integrity, and dependability have kept our clients returning and referring us to others. At Year-Round Landscaping, we prioritize quality customer service. We treat every client as our only client before, during, and after providing our services. We believe in building solid relationships with our clients and ensuring their satisfaction. Whether you need a complete outdoor makeover, indoor renovation, or routine maintenance, we have the expertise and resources to deliver outstanding results. Our team is committed to providing exceptional service and completing every project to the highest standard. To schedule an estimate or consultation, please call us at 248-843-6139 or visit our website at yearroundlandscaping.net.
Year-Around Landscaping. One source, unlimited resources.
For elite carpet, floor, and upholstery cleaning, call Supreme Steam Cleaning. For pressure washing on your house and driveway, call Supreme Steam Cleaning. Flooding in your house or building? Supreme Steam Cleaning's got you covered with our emergency water extraction services. Transform the rooms in your home with floor installation, repairs, and more. Give us a call today at 601-720-5138. That's 601-720-5138. Visit our website, www.supremesteamclean.com, and follow us on social media at Supreme Steam Cleaning. When you need an elite team, call Supreme.
SOS Graphic Design provides agency-quality professional graphic design services from established companies to startups and individuals, creating a simple logo to complete rebranding and delivering visual communication with print media. Everything SOS Graphic Design does has a single unifying objective: to set your business apart. We are at your service. Call 313-342-2166. That's 313-342-2166 or online at www.sosgraphicdesigns.com.
Are your clothes coming apart at the seams? Universal Seamstress and Tailoring has got you covered. At Universal Seamstress and Tailoring, we specialize in a wide variety of alterations and transformations to make and keep your clothes looking and fitting their best. From hem jobs to downsizing suits and dresses for a perfect fit to replacing zippers and buttons, Universal Seamstress and Tailoring is your one-stop shop for clothing maintenance. Also, do you have a logo for your clothes you'd like to wear? Universal Seamstress and Tailoring can put it there. That's right. At Universal Seamstress and Tailoring, we not only do alterations, but embroidery as well. Shirts, pants, coats, hats, even bags. If you can wear it, we can embroider it. So remember, whether it be alterations or embroidering you need, Universal Seamstress and Tailoring has got you covered. Universal Seamstress and Tailoring is located at 1404 Main Street, Fayette, Mississippi. Come and see us or give us a call at 601-786-0540.
To the side,
check out the new Sisters Braid 2 hair braiding and natural hair care salon located at 18070 Mount Elliott Street. Our new salon is spacious with adequate parking, Wi-Fi, and all brand new state-of-the-art salon equipment. Come meet your local hair braiders and natural hair care specialists and check out our many hair care services such as hair treatments, box braids, cornrows, tree braids, Havana twists, children's braids, natural twists, lock extensions, kinky twists, goddess locks, updos, full weaves, and more. Please feel free to visit us on the web at www.sistersbraid2.com or call 313-826-0498. Here at Sisters Braid 2, we offer exceptional care for exceptional hair. We look forward to seeing you. Sisters Braid 2 is a proud recipient of the Unity and Rebuilding Fund.
Murray, out of the pocket. 7 seconds. 6 seconds. Murray hits the top field.
Oh man, the power's out again.
You have reached Quality Construction and Engineering, your #1 emergency generator source.
Power outages can be unpredictable, inconvenient, and disruptive to your life. With a backup generator, your life goes on uninterrupted with power when you need it. Not to mention the peace of mind of having your property suited to weather the storm.
Whoever would have thought in Houston, Texas, that we would have an ice storm? It did happen, and that Sunday night when it came in, I got up and looked at the front door. Everything was pitch black. It was horrible. Something out of a novel or a science book that you had never seen before. Once the lights went out, my generator popped on. It ran 55 hours. The only one had lights.
Get your backup generator installed with Quality Construction. We install both residential and commercial generators, so you're always covered. Schedule your consultation with us by calling 1-855-876-9370. That's 1-855-876-9370. Or visit us online at www.powerqec.com. That's www.powerqec.com. Financing is available with low monthly payments and 0% interest for 18 months.
That was the best investment that we could have ever made. That's my backup, the generator.
Generators with Quality Construction, built tough enough to weather the storm.
Capital Area Planning Services offers a variety of services catered to your land development needs. We offer landscape design, residential design, land planning, mapping and consulting services, and more. We have over 20 years of design and land planning experience. CAPS LLC offers services to developers, builders, architects, surveyors, contractors, government agencies, and private landowners. Feel free to contact us to find out which services are available in your area. You may reach us at 601-326-2966. That's 601-326-2966. You can also visit us on the web at www.capsllconline.com. Let us put on our thinking caps to serve your land development needs.
The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
Brothers and sisters, are you tired of reading the Holy Scripture and not really understanding what you read? And if you're reasonably sure, have you ever tested that what you feel you know with someone that has a different view than your own? Then let's talk with one another. Then let's reason with one another on a Scriptural Discussion with the Son of Man every Wednesday at 9 p.m., Friday at 9 p.m., and Sunday at 12 noon. On WHPR TV Detroit Live, 88.1 FM WHPR, and Comcast Cable. Why don't you call and discuss the Holy Bible, and if you have one, the Holy Quran, and come to an agreement about the Holy Scriptures and their true meaning? You can call in live on the air at area code 313-868-4336, 313-868-0342, or 313-868-0351. That's 313-868-4336, 313-868-0342, or 313-868-0351. And now, let's go live with a scriptural discussion with the Son of Man.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, the Truthful, and the Most Just, I greet all of you once again who are hungry and thirsty for the true understanding of the Word of Allah, the one true God, and for the truth in general. I greet you all with the greeting words of peace. May Allah's Salam Alaikum. Now, I want to say, those of you who went on that trip with us, you can come on over here. You don't have to sit at the house. We don't see each other but once a week, so on the weekend. So unless you are not feeling well, I know the flu is going around. So but those who don't have any symptoms of the flu, you can come on out. Our little sister is gonna check you when you get here, so don't worry about it. And now, I want to start as we always do. But we got 44 more days for the election. I think it's important that we kind of keep that front and center, because you know, as I was listening to people slander Joe Biden, you know, that Nikki Haley lady was trying to suggest that there was no difference between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, you know. You know, so, you know, the scripture says that by your own words you'll be justified, and by your own words you'll be condemned. Now, I want to let you hear something. So I heard it today, and I just kind of looked it up just to see what was going on here. Turn to the 26th chapter of Proverbs. Did anybody have something they wanted to take up with me, brother, before I...
Yes, sir. We have a comment from Glenn Smith, and he says, "Dear Mr. Muhammad, last night I watched your live stream on Facebook and sent in a comment about Master Farad Muhammad being the Son of Man. Unfortunately, the live session ended before you got to my question, but part 2 of your live stream didn't air for some time. The period of live streaming didn't reconnect back to back, so I went offline. My apologies, because later that evening I checked back and you had already ended the session and you had returned to the air. Due to limitations, I was only allowed to type in a response to your lecture. Immediately, I saw that you had responded to my text. Thank you. Yet, I heard how upset you had gotten when I didn't respond to your request to join live. Hopefully, we can talk in the future. Please, my brother, there was nothing devious about my inquiry. I have no wish.
Well, if you didn't mean no harm, then you can disregard. You know how they send you letters saying you owe them, and if you have already paid this, please disregard this notice here. And I had assumed you was in the room and in the class listening to me, and so when you did not respond to me, it did bother me, because it made it appear that you wasn't really seeking understanding, but you were seeking to create doubt in people's mind about me. And but now, from what you're saying, now go on and finish reading it, brother.
The last line of what he said was, I have no wish to cause you disease.
Well, it is not wrong for you to question me saying I'm the Son of Man. That's not wrong for you to do that. But it is wrong for you to question me and then don't stick around for me to explain myself. You see, sometimes lawyers do that in court. They will ask a witness a question, and the witness will go to answering, and the lawyer will cut them off, and the judge will have to tell them, let the witness answer the question. If you didn't want the answer, you shouldn't have asked. And so, but I did answer your question, and I still invite you to come in and we can have a more in-depth discussion on that particular subject matter. And because I try to remove all doubt, and I am capable of removing all doubt from people as far as their doubt in me. If Allah, if I wasn't ready to do that, Allah wouldn't have sent me. Allah's word settles all disagreements for believers. When you question me, I call witnesses to bear witness to me. I call the prophets to witness. As the book says, nay, I call the stars to witness. Yes, the stars of heaven. Moses, David, Solomon, Jesus. I didn't say the stars of Hollywood. I said the stars of heaven. And so each one of them was a leading man. And their words are so powerful. Look what Jesus said when he was here. And if this world had any power above him, his word wouldn't still be here. Because he said, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. And his word is still here. To show you can't stop God. Trying to stop the word of God is like trying to stop the earth from turning. How you gonna stop it when you don't know what's making it turn in the first place? You see? So it is a wonderful thing to be able to have boldness in your position. The reason I told you to turn to the 26th chapter of Proverbs, was there someone else? Was there something else that?
No, sir.
What's that brother's name that was there?
Glenn Smith.
Glenn Smith?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, Brother Glenn, you come on in, and if you have further questions, you know, I will be more than happy to answer whatever questions you have concerning my position. And if I could not defend my position, I should not have taken that position. You know, it's that's true in sports, and that's true in life in general. You know, Allah does not impose on any soul a position beyond that soul's ability. Do you understand? So if you say God put me here, well, if God put you there, then you ought to be able to answer questions about that position that you have taken. Do you understand? That's how you know all these people lying to you. They're talking about God called them and sent them to preach. You never can ask them questions, and when you ask them questions, they don't know the answer. So you go back and tell him if he sent you, he messed up. Because you sure ain't nobody to teach me nothing. So, if you can't prove what you're saying, what gives you the right to say it? So, you know, I couldn't help but think about Donald Trump when I was reading this 26th chapter of Proverbs here. It says, as snow in summer and as rain in harvest, so honor is not seemly for a fool. And that is certainly the truth. You put a man who has no self-respect in the most honored position and respected position in the world. That is like snow in the summertime. You just don't expect that. Huh? When in the time of harvest, you don't expect rain. I didn't hear you. But yeah, he is. And trying to put him back in there. So it says, as the bird by wandering, as the swallow by flying, so the curse causeless shall not come. Well, that you remember, the Lord put a curse on Cain. Huh? And the curse that was on him was lest anybody finding him should slay him. The cursed mind that he had was he sought refuge in falsehood, in lying, deceit, trickery, and to make evil seem like it's good. Huh? And convince others to see evil as a good thing. Yeah. The things God said don't do, it's all. He just don't want you to be equal to him. Ain't not gonna happen to you. When people don't understand that, you know, when you do something the wrong way, you get rewarded for that. What is the reward you get? You learn to do it the wrong way. And so the wrong way is made fair seeming to you. Huh? Why you think these people walking around here that support Donald Trump, they support him because they learned to live life the wrong way. So the wrong way seems the right way to them. If they had their way, slavery would be that's what the Civil War was about. What kind of civilization was we going to have here? That's what they was fighting about. Will you have a civilization where the Declaration of Independence is more than just words on a page? Or is it just a hook? A bait? Because in the Declaration of Independence you already acknowledge that the Creator endowed all men with certain unalienable rights. The right to life, the right to freedom. And here you run around here trying to make slaves out of people. Well, you already condemned that. Yeah, that's why you don't want to come in here and talk with me. You see, I'm not speaking from my emotions. Neither am I speaking as a child. And I know where I'm speaking from. All of the civilizations all over the world, this is the cradle of all the civilizations that you see all over the earth right now. And it's written that he shall speak from the cradle and in old age. You see all this gray hair up on my head? Don't you mistake that for dye. That ain't no dye. No. That's the real stuff. And you notice, look, most people don't understand gray hair. But I understand it. You think that wisdom is just accidental. It's not accidental. When you see rain coming down, you didn't see it going up. When you see it raining, that's the result of time and water vapor being drawn up and held up there in the atmosphere over a long period of time. And then you see the white clouds and you see the gray clouds. And once you see the white and the gray starts covering the white, then you know it's about to start sending that water back down to you. Is that right? You don't look up and see white clouds and think it's about to rain. It ain't about to rain if you just see the white ones. But once you start seeing the gray mixed with the white ones, you know that's a sign that rain coming pretty soon. That gray and white clouds, just like our brain got gray and white matter. And so, you know, we got this in elder people. They have sometimes gray or black and white, black and gray hair, you know, and that's a sign that they are elders, and they should be. You know, you got sometime in California, it cloud up and have gray clouds, overcast, and it don't rain. So you wake up every morning with it like that almost. And so sometimes that can be deceptive. Just because you have age don't mean that you have wisdom. You should have, but some people can they can walk through a world filled with wisdom and be just like a rock in a rainstorm. Don't get wet except for a minute. And when the sun come out, it's dry again. That's what a hard head will do for you. Hard heart. You see. So it says the curse causeless shall not come. Whenever you see it's just like the curse that was put on white people. And there was a reason for that. It wasn't for punishment. It was for a greater reason. We called him the jinn. A jinn is a trap also. And this world was set up to trap, to tempt and hold captivated ungodly people. People that love evil, love wrongdoing, instead of loving their Creator and His righteousness. Do you understand? So this world was kept reserved, kept in store, reserved unto fire and for the perdition of ungodly men. That's what the book says. And most people, even in that statement, to show you, you know, you done heard enough of the Bible from hearsay. It's time you get the Bible from the Bible. So this is in 2 Peter. And this is the 7th chapter. I mean the 3rd chapter and the 7th verse. It says, but the heavens and the earth which are now, which exist now, by the same word are kept in store, reserved unto fire. Wickedness burneth as the fire. Reserved unto fire against the day of the Lord, the day of judgment, and perdition of ungodly men. You couldn't accuse, you don't accuse men of being ungodly if God is not man. You see? It's been there all the time, staring you in the face. You don't say to a man, that's very unwomanly of you. I didn't hear you. You don't say to someone who's not God, that's very ungodly of you. I didn't hear you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If the head of every man is Christ and the head of Christ is God, well, what does that make man? If your head is God, well, what is your body? That's God too. Is that right? Yeah. But thou shalt have none other gods before me. You see? And so, it says a whip for the horse, a bridle for the ass, and a rod for the fool's back. Put something on it. Is that right? Boy, Solomon was a wise man, wasn't he? You notice how he tied spiritual things to physical things? It says, answer not a fool according to his folly, lest thou also be like unto him. In other words, don't get into playing the dozens with the fool. Do you understand? Because when he can pull you down to his level, that's the same as a man that's a professional boxer and you ain't, and you let him goad you into a boxing match. I mean, you know what that's gonna lead to. A man that's a gunslinger, and you don't know nothing about no quick draw and no stuff, and you let him goad you into a gunfight. Well, that's crazy. You know you ain't gonna win. Well, you gonna out-fool a fool? Both of you crazy. Do you understand? And so, it says, answer a fool according to his folly. You know, lest he be wise in his own conceit, in his own conscience seat, in his own mind. You see, you answer him according to his folly, but not in the same way that he is in his folly. The messenger said it like this. He said, we don't want our people acting unrighteous, foolish, regardless to who acts unrighteous towards us. We must not do so ourselves. Since we represent ourselves as being righteous, then we be righteous. You see? And so, he that sendeth a message by the hand of a fool cutteth off the feet and drinketh damage. Well, that's the truth. Because you know, you give a fool a message, in the first place, he ain't gonna understand your message like you understood it no way. And he ain't got sense enough to go there and say what you said. He gonna go there and say what he understood you to mean. You understand? And you just messed up sending him with your message. And so it says, and he gonna bring damage to whatever you. It's just like Donald Trump. Do you know the president has sole authority over, according to what they've been telling us, sole authority over foreign affairs? So when you send the president of the United States in a well prepared plane called Air Force One, it's a flying fortress. You sending a messenger, you sending the messenger who represents the United States of America. And he that sendeth a message by the hand of a fool, as it says, cutteth off the feet and drinketh damage. Well, you drinking damnation, and you drink damage to your country, damage to your reputation, damage to everything that you've been trying to build up by putting a fool on Air Force One. Do you hear me? He came up in the right thing, but he like a dead man in a limousine. Huh? He done turned Air Force One into a hearse. And everywhere he go, he kill. And you notice everybody who hitched themselves to him, their reputation dies. Look at Ted Cruz. He don't even look like himself no more. Got all that nappy hair all over his face and looking like something wild. And he just done lost his mind. Marco Rubio, you remember when he got into the rolling around in the mud with Donald Trump? And Trump pulled them down to the level that he was on, and then he ruined them. Or they ruined themselves. Do you understand? Okay. And it says, the legs of the lame are not equal. So is a parable in the mouth of fools. Yeah. Here's a man stood up and called 2 Corinthians 2 Corinthians. And that told you right there all you needed to know about how much Bible study he done did. Do you understand? Then it says, I remember, I think Roy was calling 1 John I John. And I said, boy, this is something. The man, I mean, it's not hard to see people as they are if you are rooted in truth. And so it says, as he that bindeth a stone in a sling, so is he that giveth honor to a fool. A stone in a sling, you can put a stone in two pieces of rag and swing it around like that and let one piece go and that stone will fly out of there. That's a slingshot. And to give honor to a fool is like binding a stone in a sling, because wherever you send that fool, he gonna cause damage to your reputation. Do you understand? Everywhere you sent Trump, you remember he went to Helsinki. You helped him get over there, and he went over there and embarrassed the hell out of you. I didn't hear you. He's over there bowing down to Vladimir Putin. Huh? Telling the world that he trusts Putin over his intelligence department. His intelligence department told him Putin had interfered in the election. And Putin said, no, I didn't do that. And he said, President Putin have adamantly said he didn't do that, and I don't see why he would. And when he was asked about that, and even Fox News couldn't believe that man went over there and did that. But at least that's the lie they tell. But they didn't say nothing when Mike Flynn and all of them were sitting around the table with Putin, eating dinner. These people, they are double crossers. What you think is meant when they say the cup she hath filled to her double? You see, now, all of the things that you tolerated when you should have stopped it, you getting a taste of it back Look how many black people was turned into traitors against their own people. Now white people are starting to see how that feels. To have white people turn traitor to the United States of America and get in their government and try to tear it apart from the inside. Now you know how that feels. You just can't make God's word a lie. Of course, now, they ain't going to succeed. Why? Because God's not going to let you be the one to tear up something he built. No. If God tied his shoe, if he tied it, you can't untie it. Huh? What did the Revelator say? Here, one coming after me whose shoes I'm not able to untie. Huh? Unlash. Can't do it. He know how to make a knot, can't nobody undo but him. So anyway, as a thorn goeth up into the hand of a drunkard, so is a parable in the mouth of fools. There you go. They don't have the slightest clue to what the parable is talking about, and it may be coming out their mouth, and they think they. I'll show you an example. The book says get wisdom, but in all you're getting, get understanding. And they didn't know what that parable meant. I'm the first one gave you the clear understanding of what that parable was talking about. By giving you something that was not parable. That if you like butter, if you like cream, if you like cheese, then milk is the principal thing. Get milk, and with all you're getting, you get butter, cream, cheese, and all them byproducts. Because it all comes with milk. Well, wisdom is the principal thing. So get wisdom, and with all you're getting of wisdom, understanding is the byproduct. Do you understand? If you really want to get understanding, find someone who can give you instructions, guidance, and then obey them. And you won't have to ask no questions as to why this was done or why you do that. Just do it, and the answer will be revealed to you. But you're only taught in accordance with your fitness to learn. Most people think they learn by being told something. You don't learn by being told. You learn by being obedient. So, you see the world full of people that thought they had learned something by being told something. Then when you ask them to prove what it is that they say they know, they ain't got no proof. They just got a whole lot of memory of what they was told. That's what Geno Jennings messed up with me. He thought that I was just quoting the messenger. But I followed the messenger. And so Allah always guided me, not just to what was said, but why it was said. I told you, I learned the meaning of Caucasian. I was working at a self-service station. And the brother just walked over to me and said, Caucasian mean made Asian. And just left. And I knew that Allah was the one telling me what the meaning of it was. And so I laid hold to it. Allah tells me things all the time. Just like that brother that came in here and told me about presidents. He asked me about the presidents in the Bible. I had never read precedence in the Bible because I had never looked for it. Come to find out, it came right out the book. And so I thank the brother. You know, he had another reason for trying to tell it to me. But, you know, you notice, when I tell people that I've never seen this, I don't say, no, that ain't there. I just say, I ain't never seen it. Where's it at? You know, I go in there and I find it. That's because Allah, He wants me to find it. To show that what I said before I even knew that was in there. I told him Allah helped them set this up. Huh? And he thought he was taking me to something that was going to shock me. That didn't shock me. It just showed me that Allah had already bore witness to that before I knew it. But I knew it somehow without even knowing it was in there. Because you don't get from a cave to the greatest nation on earth and tell me you did it by yourself. No, you didn't. If you could do it by yourself, you wouldn't have never been in a cave. You can't find no history of black people living in caves. We ain't had to come out because we never went in. Do you understand? We brought ourselves out of darkness. So, what is it, son?
Yes, sir. We have Oscar Cruzmar here.
Oscar Cruzmar. Okay.
He starts out by saying, debate Sam Shimon.
Well, tell him to come on in.
Then he says, the Bible was not written by the white man. Stop it.
Stop what? The Bible was rewritten by the white man. It wasn't written by the white man. No, it wasn't. You're right. So what do you mean, stop it? Stop what? You know, when people dislike you because of what you are saying and they can't argue with you, they try to create something they can argue with. It's called a straw man. Do you understand? See now, when I ask him, well, what you said that to say what? I mean, I'm supposed to take that up and start arguing something that I didn't bring up. You know, it tickles me when people do that. You know, but you know, you're welcome to come in and have a conversation with me if you want. I'm not.
I invited him to call in. He said, "Nah, I'm listening, baby."
Well, let's show he's a child. That's a child. Then don't interrupt anymore with that, with foolishness. Don't do that. Now, so, you know, that's what's got so many people in the said Nation of Islam. That's what got them in trouble, and that's why they got put in hell. The messenger told him, he said, don't think you're so great now just because God promised you the kingdom. He said, wait until you get in it. And some of them, they was, you know, making so much noise and clapping and going on. And the messenger said, did you think that just the name was going to save you? No. Calling yourself Muslim, that ain't going to save you. Being Muslim is what will save you. So, you know, I remember the messenger warned you that you don't come in here playing with me. Now, I'm 73 years old and I'll soon be 74. I ain't your toy. You're going to find that out. You go too far with me, I'll throw you in hell. Then you will understand. What is it, son?
He says, I apologize, I misheard.
Well, didn't I tell you all you better learn to listen? I'm the last one you want to start a fight with. Because you ain't going to win. You heard me tell these rednecks, and I'm in Mississippi. You heard me tell them, declare war on me. Just tell me you at war with me. When you sitting down and the worms in your body eating you up from the inside, then you will understand you didn't want to be at war with me. You done heard about stuff like that, a flesh-eating disease that people can't have. That ain't no joke. I don't need no bombs. I don't need no bullets. I don't need no guns. I don't need nothing but the word. And Allah said, behold my servant, whose word I will uphold. Whatever I decide to do to you, it's in my power to do it. That's why he said, the earth is the Lord's, the fullness thereof, the world, and they that dwell therein. And if it's mine, I can do whatever I want with it. Don't you know that the Son of Man, of whom I am, couldn't judge you if you didn't belong to him? Who is he that judgeth another man's servant? The devil himself done shut his mouth at me. You better take a lesson from that. So now, I ain't forbidding you to question me. I'm not forbidding you to argue with me. But I am forbidding you to disrespect me. Because I have not disrespected you. I have shown you more respect than any preacher, than any imam, than any rabbi, than any so-called religious person that ever stood before you. Other than the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Because he showed you respect too. He always let you stand. He let people stand up there and question him, but he did tell some that tried to argue and didn't really have an argument. He said, look, I don't have time to argue with you. We will always have a place for you to argue, if that's what you want to do. Well, now the place for you to argue is right here with me. He knew I was coming behind him and that I would argue with you out of respect for you. Don't you know that when a person is a teacher, how many teachers did you have that wouldn't let you question them and even put up arguments if it had to do with the subject matter that they was on? And then they would show you most of the time where you made a mistake. Do you understand? If you brought forth an argument that made sense, they would say, yeah, you're right. That's right. Do you understand? And then they would say, well, I see you got the gist of what I was saying. Then, but this is how it is in the book, and this is what we have to go by. Do you understand? You see? All teachers love a student that pays attention. So don't ever think that I'm just talking to you and I don't listen to you. Can't you see that when people print something on my page or whatever, the brother will read it to me and I will take it up with them. That's respect I'm showing you. And I even instructed my helpers, invite them to come in and talk with me. I'm not afraid to discuss what I'm teaching. Now, I wanted you to see this. Look, 44 days is you're going to be at the voting booth in 44 days. You better make the right choice this time. You made the right choice in 2020. You better repeat that right choice again in 2024. I mean, for your sake. Now, let me clue you in. If some of these people think somehow that if they elect Donald Trump, that's hurting me. When they went there and attacked the Capitol, I wasn't there. You was. I have not forgotten about Officer Sicknick, who voted for Trump. Dead, killed by a mob sent to the Capitol by Trump. Because he was too selfish and childish to accept the fact that he lost the election. So he wants to, you remember the little boy that, well, in my neighborhood, we had a little fella that had the bats and the balls and the gloves, and when he get mad, he just take his stuff and go home, and the game was over. Because he had all of this stuff, but he outgrew that. Donald Trump lost the presidency, and he tried and is bent on destroying the United States. Look, you haven't been paying attention, obviously, to what's going on right in front of you. Here, man says he's going to release all of the people who attacked the Capitol. He going to pardon them. And you ask him, why? Because they was patriots, he said. So since when does attacking your own government become a patriotic act? You say, well, we don't like to go. Well, every 4 years you get a chance to vote for another one. You don't have to go up there and burn the house down. All you got to do is just go to the voting booth and kick them out of there. I didn't hear you. If you don't like what the House of Representatives is doing, all you have to do every 2 years, you get a chance to go and remove them people. There's no need to go and attack and beat up people that ain't doing what you want done. See, that is the wisdom that came from God that gave you a government like this. He knew you wasn't righteous, but he gave you a shadow of the world that's coming. where you can have a peaceful transfer of power. Do you understand? But you march down there and tell me this. If you was concerned about the election, why was you smearing feces all over the walls of the Capitol and urinating on the floor? What was that about? What did that have to do with? What did you need to go there and deface that edifice for? What was that about? Even when I was a child, I never took spray paint and sprayed it on the side of people's buildings. I just wasn't raised that way. I told you, I've been old all my life. I didn't know why stuff that other children was doing, I just didn't get no joy out of it. But I ain't never been other children. I was God's child all the time. When I went to Washington and saw those buildings 200 and something years old, still looking good. I mean, they don't even build them like that no more. All them big old pillars in front of them and everything. I mean, it's a sight to see. At least for me, I've been building. And put my little building to shame. You know what I mean? But there was a time when they couldn't build that stuff. That happened 100 and something years after they almost about 100 and something years after they had log cabins and stuff. And they had them black workers in cement and all that, masons, and what do you think masonry is? People who know how to work with cement, man. And but anyway, they had the slaves built that. I was looking at what our fathers built, man. You don't have to wonder who built the pyramids. Just go to Washington and look at all them buildings, that architecture there, and the thing, man, it's a sight to see. And how could you go in there and urinate on marble floors and deface, smear your boo-boo on the wall and just go ransack offices because you say an election was fraudulent and you didn't offer not one shred of evidence to prove that it was fraud? All the courts and a lot of them judges were Republicans. They didn't go along with your lie. No. You marched into the Capitol of the United States with a Confederate flag. And what you think what they mean when they put the American flag and then put Donald Trump's name on the top of it? He's saying he owns America now. He has owned you. Do you understand? He has changed your government from wanting to continue a democracy to wanting to go to a dictatorship. When you put your name on something, that's your brand. He put his name on buildings, right? Well, he put his name on the flag. He ain't had no business putting his name on the American flag. A man who never, look, you remember the words to the Star Spangled Banner? It says, and the rockets, red glare, the bombs bursting in midair, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. But Donald Trump ain't never picked up nothing to put his life on the line for this country. And called people who did it. He called Dwight Eisenhower a loser and a sucker. That's what he said. If you say any military person is a loser and a sucker, you saying that about all of them. Am I a loser and a sucker? Come in here and tell me I'm a loser and a sucker. I spent 3 years in the Marine Corps. Was signed up for 4, I did 3 and got out. I got myself in and I got myself out. But while I was in there, I was loyal. And when I said I wasn't going to do it no more, I told them I wasn't going to do it no more. I didn't just run off. And they let me out. Honorably. And to this day, it's like the messenger said. He said, I could get in Russia today. He said, but I respect the American government. And I will not go to their enemies seeking help. I don't need them. And whether you know it or not, the American government respected the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And they respect me. So, when you listen, let me tell you something. I learned this from when I was a teenager. I hated school. But I had sense enough to realize, since I had to go, I may as well pay attention and get something while I'm there. do you understand? You know, so you see, I can read, I can write, I can do math, and I can reason. So it wasn't no waste of all my time. Do you understand? You know, I'm glad that I had the experience of getting an education here. But I recognize now why I didn't enjoy it. You know, because I couldn't relate to, everybody that was great and everybody that was somebody was white people. You know, who wants to hear that all you ever been was a slave? Nobody want to hear that. You know, but that's what it, of slaves designed Washington, D.C., Benjamin Banneker. And George Washington Carver did more with a peanut than did over 300 things with a peanut. Charles Drew taught him how to store blood plasma, and man died needing a transfusion because went to a place, a hospital that was white people, and they wouldn't help him. This is the kind of stuff that, that just, so don't think that I don't know something about what has been done to my people. But I also know what was done to the people who did that to my people. It was purposely done to get me here. They didn't even know why they was made. The devil didn't know why he was made the devil. That's why he questioned his maker. But that's the one thing about God. He can choose to explain himself to you or choose not to. There ain't none yet. You just do what he told you. That's what he, you don't question his authority to do what he does. So, this next thing I'm going to read to you, and then I'm going to stop, but because I want to show you this. It says, the great God, the great granter of dominion, that formed all things, both rewardeth the fool and rewardeth transgressors. And so everybody is rewarded according to their works. And when you understand that, then you understand why a fool only increases in his folly. That's the nature of learning. You increase in it. So it don't you don't stop once you start down that path. It's kind of like what not Obi-Wan, well, Obi-Wan and Yoda told Luke. He said, once you start down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny. Yeah. Once you put your trust in lying, then you become a more proficient liar. You start telling bigger and bigger lies, the more intricate lies, but they are lies. But you have convinced yourself that they are truth. They are your truth. You see, that's how you know when people have put their trust in lies. Like Scientology, they say, tell your truth. You see, truth does not belong to you or me. It's kind of like I don't know if it was Monahan or one of them up there long ago, they quote him. They said, everyone has a right to their opinion, but not their own facts. You got your own opinion, but you ain't got your own facts. Do you understand? Truth is facts. Truth is not mine, and truth is not yours. Truth is the truth. Period. The truth of what? The truth of whatever it is that you're trying to find out. The truth of that is the truth of that. It ain't your truth of it. It's not their truth of it. It's the truth of that. Do you understand? Well, all praises due to Allah. Okay. Now, listen to this interview here.
It's been about a year since we last sat down as you were kicking off the campaign. Has it gone the way you thought it would?
Well, campaigns, you never know how they're going to go, but we're incredibly proud of everything that we've done. I mean, think about it. A year this week, we announced there were 14 people in the race. We've defeated a dozen of them. I just got one more I got to catch up to.
You still sound pretty optimistic that's a dragon that can be slayed this year.
I mean, look, you have to do whatever it takes to save our country. That's the way I look at it. And even if it means, taking on, the biggest giant there is, I've always been an underdog. It's all I know how to do. And it's what I'm good at, is just going and trying to make a difference. Well,
you notice, Craig Melvin, now he said something that he really didn't understand what he said. When he asked her, is that a dragon that's still yet to be slain? A dragon is a liar. But I'm pretty sure he didn't understand what he said. Do you understand?
And make sure that we do what we need to do.
As you know, the former president yesterday endorsed a group of loyalists, including his daughter-in-law, to run the RNC now. The idea, reportedly, to bring the campaign closer to the party. What do you make of that?
It's a lot of political insider stuff. I mean, he's surrounded himself by all political insiders. If you look at all the congressional members surrounding him, I mean, those are all more of the same people who haven't gotten anything done. And look, they're never going to support someone like me. Why? Because I want term limits. Because I think if they don't get us a budget on time, they shouldn't get paid. Because I don't think they should be trading in the stock market. I mean, there are multiple things that I am fighting back against DC because they never get anything done for us. But for him to first try and get the RNC to name him the Republican nominee, and the public had backlash about that. Then to go and fire the RNC chair and now do this, it's just another way of doing that. He's just trying to control as much as he can control. But we don't want a king in America. That's the problem.
They heard your criticism earlier, and they responded. Trump campaign spokesman said, quote, Nikki, brain dead, bird brain Haley reeks of desperation as it's clear she knows she has no shot and is now auditioning for a cable news contract where 15 minutes are over. That was their response to your criticism. What say you to that?
Yeah, it's a weak response. He knows that. I mean, you know that we're under his skin because he's tweeting about us at 2 a.m. in the morning. I mean, you know we're under the skin because you saw what he did at the rally on Saturday. I mean, when he goes off the teleprompter, he's unhinged. He's totally unhinged. You know, to mock my husband. Michael and I can handle that. When you're in politics, it's, public as anything can happen. But you mock one member of the military, you mock all members of the military. And to go and do it the way he did, he doesn't understand what that kind of sacrifice is. He doesn't understand what it means to wear the uniform. He doesn't understand because this is a pattern that he continues to do, whether he calls those that have lost their lives in the military, whether he calls them losers or suckers, or whether he's at Arlington National Cemetery saying, what was in it for them. He's never known what that's like. But to go...
In order to understand a thing, you have to care. Donald Trump does not care about this country, so he does not have to understand the military, because whatever their reasons for it is, as far as he's concerned, this country is not worth defending. Do you understand? And so if it's not worth defending, then whoever volunteers to defend it is a loser and a sucker. Do you understand? Democracy, they say, is an experiment. But it's not an experiment now. It has proven to be a viable way of governing. Do you understand? So they need to stop calling it an experiment. But they still choose to do so. But Donald Trump, he admires dictators. He wants to be one. And the first step to becoming one was becoming president. Because once you become president, now you're in a position to start making changes like he did with the Supreme Court. You know, and I know that the justices were asked, would they leave Roe versus Wade as settled law? And they said yes, that is settled law. And one of the first things they did when they got in there was overturned it. Do you understand? You know, they tell you what you want to hear to so they can get in there, and then they do what they please. Do you understand? They do what their handlers sent them there for. And so you got people, as Putin said, he helped Donald Trump win the election. Well, if he helped Donald Trump win the election, why? So he could get in there and overturn this government from the inside. Do you understand? So, just listen.
It's something like that. You insulted every member of the military. You insulted every veteran. But you insulted every military family.
But the reality is, this time it's different because he was talking about your husband. He did it at a campaign event over the weekend. Then last night, to your point, he said that, I want to make sure I get this right, he said that your husband needs to come back from Africa to, quote, save your dying campaign. But the reality is, he's talked about the military for years now in disparaging ways. Suckers, losers, John McCain, Gold Star families. What's different now? What's different this time?
Well, I mean, I think before when he did it, it was during the 2016 election. Everybody thought, oh, did he have a slip? What did that mean? During the time that he had that I was in the administration, I mean, I called him out every single time. If something was wrong, I had a conversation with him about Charlottesville. I had a conversation about something that he would say about women. I had a conversation with him about multiple things. You know, I always told him when I thought something was wrong. The problem now is he is not the same person he was in 2016. He is unhinged. He is more diminished than he was. Just like Joe Biden's more diminished than what he was. We have to see this for what it is. This is the fact that he's now saying things that don't make sense.
Master, with all due respect, he's been saying wacky stuff for years. And oftentimes in the past when he said those things, you were right there. You endorsed him when he ran again. You were a vocal supporter. You were out on the campaign trail for him. He was saying crazy stuff.
I'm the first one to say I voted for him twice. I was proud to serve America in his administration. But you can go back and look in my book. I cite multiple times, and he knows it, when I called him out for things that he was doing that were wrong. There were other things that he did that were wrong. I would tell him he was his own worst enemy. He knows I would always say that to him. And since then, since I got out of the administration, I have called him out multiple times, which is why he's upset, because he thinks I'm disloyal. I'm not loyal to anyone. I don't do that. What I do is I call it out. If you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, you're wrong. And I'm going to call it out every time. The part that bothers me now is, look at what else he said at the rally. He says that he's not going to support our NATO allies if they don't pull their weight. Now, he didn't just stop there. He then turned around and said he would encourage Putin to invade them. These are countries that stood by us after 9/11. And you're going to side with a thug who 500,000 people have died or been wounded because of Putin and his invasion of Ukraine. You're going to side with a dictator who kills his opponents. You're going to side with someone who's arrested Evan Gersovich just for doing his job of journalism. You're going to side with that over our allies? That's dangerous.
It's not just him, though. What about the hundreds of thousands who turned out in primaries to vote for him? I mean, he is clearly head and shoulders above the rest in terms of front-runner status right now, you can see. What does that say about the party? Why has your message not broken through so far?
Well, I think my message has broken through, because what we're seeing is not only are we getting Republicans, we're getting independents, we're getting Reagan Democrats, the people who want the anger to stop, the people who want the division to stop, and the people who want us to stop having 80-year-old candidates and start getting someone who can run 8 years and solve the problems and get us solutions. That's what they want. I mean, you look at the situation we have now, Craig, you got to be honest. You've got Joe Biden, where the special counsel said he was diminished, and he's not the Joe Biden he was 2 years ago. You've got a...
Now, what president do you know of that got more done in his first term than Joe Biden? That's not rhetorical. I really want you to tell me. You see when you travel across the country, you see the infrastructure bill at work. You see that being done. I mean, just jobs on top of jobs there. And highways and bridges getting fixed, and you know, that's the Biden administration's doing. Your health care seems to be doing okay. In some places, diesel is almost cheap as gas. What is that? What did we pay for that last fill up? $2.35. I just couldn't resist it. I had to get on in there. Let me get in there and get this thing and top these tanks off here. It was around $2.35, something like that, in certain spots in the country. So, you know, yes, COVID is still here, but it's manageable now, at least. You know, I guess I will go on and let us go on and get them other boosters. But anyway, Joe Biden, he earned a second term. It's just that most people believe hype instead of their own lying eyes. Do you understand what I mean by that? They see everything is going good, but they would rather believe what somebody telling them on TV to the contrary. I mean, on the internet, to the contrary. But I can't do that. I can't sit up and say that a person is somehow diminished. The only thing diminished about Joe Biden is that he done got older. But as far as his ability, that hadn't diminished. But I think he proved again that he wasn't running because of his ego. He was running because he sincerely wanted to restore the soul of the United States. And he picked a dynamite running mate, which everybody done found that out now. And he told us that from the beginning. He said she's ready from day one. So let's hear some more.
Trump, who's unhinged, and he's more unhinged than he ever was. And why are we settling for that when the country is in disarray and the world is on fire? Why are we saying that's our choice?
Well, because voters are saying it. No, they're saying it in mass.
You know who's saying it? 70% of Americans are saying they don't want Trump or Biden in a re-election. 59% of Americans, just this past weekend, said Donald Trump and Joe Biden are too old to run for president. So let's look at the majority of Americans if you're going to talk about it. Don't talk about a certain part of the Republican primary. That's not everybody. Don't paint everybody with the same brush. You've got a lot of good Americans who say this is very wrong. They're tired of D.C. not getting anything done. They're tired of the fact that they have two older men who are focused on themselves running for office. And they're tired of the anger and the division.
You mentioned it.
Was Joe Biden focused on himself? But you see her sit there and tell that lie. You see, you remember Hunt for Red October? And the man told what's his name? Alec Baldwin. The man pulled Alec Baldwin to the side and said, now look, I'm a politician, which means I'm a liar and a cheat. And when I'm not kissing babies, I'm stealing their lollipops. You remember that? You know what makes you attracted to those movies? Is that there is a subtle hint of truth in them. A movie couldn't hold your attention if it's not something that is believable. And most people know that, just like she's sitting there telling whatever lies she thinks she can tell to win you over. She telling you what she think you want to hear. But she's not committed to what she's saying. Just a moment, just listen.
The president's mental fitness, but our latest NBC News poll showed that 80% of GOP voters, 80%, have minor or no concerns about that. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that there are so many GOP primary voters who may agree with you? They may say, you know what, Trump's not the same guy he was. I'm fine with that. He's 77. I'm fine with that. He says unhinged things sometimes. I'm fine with that. Why do you think that is?
It's because, a lot of them saw when he was president, he never got an ounce of credit or a moment's peace. And they saw that he fought for them. And now they want to go back and reward him for that. What I am saying to them is, I was with you. I voted for him.
What did Donald Trump do for anybody? No. I want some of these people that's supporting him. Come in here and tell us what he did, what he accomplished for you. Because she just sit there and said that he fought for them and that's why they feel loyal to him. Did what for them? Fought what? He convinced them that a pandemic that was killing them wasn't dangerous. And told them to go out there like warriors. You sit up and you say things, you give him credit for doing what? What did he do? Besides hate black people and hate Spanish Americans and hate white folks that didn't vote for him and hate banks that stopped loaning him money. Really. And befriended dictators who was giving him money secretly.
Look at what he's now saying. Not only is he saying he's going to side with Putin, which could hurt our military and start a war, he wants to raise taxes on every American family by putting tariffs on all goods that come in from stolen.
Now she's telling the truth. But she ain't committed to that. She's telling them everything that Donald Trump gonna do.
Appliances. It's going to cost every American family $2,800. He tried to raise the gas tax 25 cents per gallon in 2018. He'll do it again. He wants to cut Social Security by 24% in 10 years. That's a fact. He put us $8 trillion in debt in just 4 years that our kids are never going to forgive him for. We need to start looking at the facts. What's he really saying he's going to do? And now he takes $50 million of his campaign contributions and puts it towards personal court cases for his legal fees. Look at last week. He lost the case on immunity. He's now going to be Citizen Trump. And he says he's going to spend more time in a courtroom than he will be on the campaign trail. Problem number one. Republicans lost the bill on the border. They lost the bill on Israel. The RNC chair lost her job. His fingers were in all of that. Everything he touches is chaos. That's just a fact now.
A lot of what you're saying may be true, But it sure does seem as if Republican primary voters know all of that, and they've made peace with it.
You're saying that because 2 states have voted. Like, we still...
But you've seen the polls. You've seen the polls. Right now, here in our state, where you were elected governor twice, recent poll has you down by more than 30 points. 30 points. You said you've got to do at least 43%. I think that's what you did in New Hampshire. You said that 43% is the magic number. That's what you want to garner. If you don't do that in South Carolina, your home state, what does that mean?
Y'all said I was 30 points down in New Hampshire, and I got 43%. This is about closing. We moved 25 points in the last 3 weeks of the election in New Hampshire. We are moving in South Carolina. We're going to close the gap. I'm fighting for every single vote. That's why we're doing this bus tour. I'm in every small town and every big city, going and showing people that they deserve better. Americans are tired of working for government. They now want government to serve the people. And they see all the chaos that's around us, and they don't like it. You've got hundreds of people out there. We've had hundreds of people, whether it's the low country or whether it's the upstate, because they want something different. And when 70% of Americans say they don't want Trump or Biden, why are you talking about a poll or 2 states?
Because that 70% is not showing up to vote in GOP primaries.
We haven't finished the states yet.
So you're gonna ride this thing out. You're gonna stay through Super Tuesday.
We're gonna be competitive.
No matter what.
We're gonna be competitive in South Carolina. Then we're headed to Michigan. Then we're headed to Super Tuesday. This is about the fact that we need to allow states to vote. We don't pick kings. We don't do coronations. We have a democracy where people vote. We don't decide because he got 1.5% of Iowa's population. We don't decide just because, think about that, he didn't get 43% of the vote in New Hampshire. Now we're in South Carolina. Let South Carolinians choose.
Ambassador, would you concede that at some point, though, yes, you've got to remain competitive. You've got to show some growth. But at some point, you've got to win one. You've got to win a state. Is there a state right now when you look at it and you say, you know what, I can win in Michigan, I can win in Texas, the primaries, I can maybe win in South Carolina. Is there one state where you could say right now, we can win there?
You need 1,215 delegates. Coming out of New Hampshire, he had 32, I had 17. We've got multiple states. After South Carolina, within 10 days, we're going to hit 20 states. Let it happen. You know, if I got out of the campaign now, do you know it would be the longest general election in history? And one where 70% don't want it to be Trump and Biden? Why would I do that? Why would I do that when you've got so many Americans that are saying, stop, we don't want these 2 old men running. We want someone who's going to go and fight for us and work for us with no drama, no vendettas. It's not all about, that person, because it continues to be about their egos. That I'm doing this because I don't want my kids to live like this. I don't want your kids to live like this.
You did just say something, though, that triggered a thought, and I read something recently. Someone has suggested that part of your strategy could be, potentially, you bank delegates, and if you go to the convention, and he has been convicted of a crime, or there has, something else has happened, maybe it's health related, you could then stand up and say, you know what, I've got the second most delegates of any of the candidates. I'm your woman. Is that a thought that's crossed your mind?
The thought that crosses my mind is every single state. I never think too far ahead. I never thought past Iowa. I never thought past New Hampshire. I'm now thinking about South Carolina. I'll let my team think about Michigan and Super Tuesday.
She never thinks too far ahead. What does that tell you about her ability to lead? If you're not in the habit of thinking up ahead, of where will this lead to, or what would this happen? I remember when some of the generals was telling President Kennedy that we need to just go in there in Cuba and say, take out them missile emplacements and stuff in there, and Kennedy told him. He asked him a question. He said, if we do that, what will Khrushchev do? And they looked and said, Nothing. And Kennedy said, if we kill Russian troops, you saying that Khrushchev will do nothing? Oh, he's going to do something. He's going to have to do something. And he dismissed him. He said, thank you, gentlemen. And he couldn't believe they thought he was that naive. You know, because he was young. He was the youngest president that they had ever had. And you know, but see, he was a president that didn't just look at what is in front of him. He thought of what would go after that. What would happen after, if I do this, what will they do? That's why he have advisors around him. You have to think ahead. You know, and this woman, what is it, son?
Yes, sir. We have a comment from Alvin, and he says gas was cheaper when Trump was in office. That's a lie.
What's a lie? What is he talking about?
I don't know if he was referring to when you spoke about diesel or what.
I didn't say nothing about when Trump was in office. I told you these people are insane. They just, you say one thing, they hear something else. And you know, just crazy folks. Anyway.
I am focused on the state that I'm in.
You're staying through Super Tuesday no matter what.
Well, why would I get out? As long as we keep it competitive.
Some have suggested you might be hurting the potential GOP nominee the longer you stay in.
I mean, how ridiculous is it that you're literally saying that I'm hurting him by staying in?
Diverting resources.
No, resources. From a man who spent $50 million of his own campaign contributions on his personal court cases, where the RNC is broke. I'm the one hurting him resources? I don't think so. I think I'm the one that if the Republican Party wants to be saved, I'm the one that saves the Republican Party. You know why? Because look at every general election poll. Look at any of them. Trump loses by 5, by 7. On a good day, he's even. Margin of error. I defeat Biden by up to 17 points. Marquette poll.
But President Biden's not in the primary. That seems to continue to be the primary.
No, and we're going to continue to work on the primary. We're continuing to try and get the votes. Don't discount that I defeated a dozen fellas. Don't discount that I got 43% in New Hampshire. And don't discount me now. I'm doing this because we have a country to save. I'm not doing this for my political career. I'm not doing this for any sort of gig. I'm doing this because our country deserves better. And I'm not going to stop fighting until I know I've done everything I can to save it.
Then now she's saying all the things that she thinks everybody want to hear. But she's not committed to any of that. Just a moment.
Yesterday, it caught my attention because I've never heard you say it before. After the most recent attack on your husband and other military families, you said, quote, he's no longer qualified to be president. How do you square that with raising your hand on that debate stage, saying you would support him even if he were a convicted criminal? How do you support someone if you're no longer qualified?
I have said any of those 14 would be better than Joe Biden because everybody sees how diminished Joe Biden is. I will also tell you, there is no way that the American people...
Tell me something. What has Joe Biden failed in? I mean, what has he done to hurt this country? Come on, here's your chance. Tell us what Joe Biden did to hurt the country. You can't say Joe Biden divided the country. Joe Biden didn't divide the country. He even, in this time of division, he got enough Republicans on board to push that infrastructure. What was that? That $1.3 trillion in infrastructure? What was that? So he got some Republicans to sign off on it. In this let's kill each other environment, he got them to work together. He made NATO stronger. If it hadn't been for Joe Biden, Ukraine probably would have fell to Russia. The reason people don't understand Joe Biden is the same reason that children cannot understand adults. Joe Biden is not a politician, he's a statesman. And regardless to how they disrespected him, you notice Joe Biden didn't get into playing the dozens with Donald Trump. He didn't start nicknaming Donald Trump. He called him Donald Herbert Hoover Trump, and everybody understood why that was. But it was a humorous thing, but it hit home. Donald Trump hadn't accomplished anything. Even Herbert Hoover, he reminded him of him. He didn't get nothing done. Donald Trump left this country in a terrible mess. And it was a mess that he helped create. Because he didn't get out of the way of the CDC and let them do what they do.
To vote for a convicted criminal. They're not.
But you said you would.
They're not.
But you said you would.
No, that is not the question. The question was, would we support the Republican nominee? We just had to sign it before we went on that stage. Everybody needs to go back and look at what happened. Every Republican nominee signed a pledge before they could even get on the debate stage that said, if we were not the nominee, would we support the nominee? And I said yes, and I stand by that I would support the Republican nominee. But you don't trust the American people, because I know the American people are not going to vote for a convicted criminal. They're not going to do it. I know American people are better than that. I trust them.
But you said he's no.
She talk about the American people as though she's not one. So she gonna vote for him, but the American people ain't gonna vote for him. Do you understand? Why do you have to sign a pledge that you will support the candidate that somebody on there? I mean, what's that all about? You don't hear about no Democrats having to sign no pledge to get up on the stage. Pledge. They ain't got to pledge to nobody. Huh? What's this pledge about? That Grover Norquist stuff? If they sign the pledge, they get to govern. There's your shadow government. Do you understand?
Qualified to be president.
If you don't know the value of our men and women in uniform, if you don't know the sacrifice that they go through, why should I, as a military spouse and all our military families, trust you to know you're going to keep them out of harm's way? If you are saying you're going to side with Putin, that I know is going to cause a war, not stop a war, why would any military family feel like you could go and keep our men and women protected, because you can. This is about the security, national security of Americans. It's about the safety of our men and women in the military, and it's about having their backs. And you need a commander-in-chief that's going to have their backs. And I don't know what that rant was that he had. And it's not even personal about me or Michael. It's about how do you look at the military? And then at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're going to go say, he should come home and save his wife? Okay, so you don't realize when you take a tour, there's no just coming home. I mean, the reality is he's never been anywhere near a military uniform. He's never had to sleep on the ground. He's never known how to sacrifice. And the most harm he's ever possibly had is getting hit by a golf ball when he's sitting in a golf cart.
Then why would you vote for him for president? He done asked her that, and she ain't said, I won't vote for him yet. Huh? Then she says she's not political.
But all of that was true 4 years ago. All of that was true when
he is not the same person today any more than Joe Biden was the same person 4 years ago. That's a fact, Craig. These guys are...
Oh, yes, Joe Biden is today the same person he has always been. He's just not as agile as he was. But he's the same Joe Biden. And Donald Trump is the same Donald Trump. He's just worse. If you understand what I'm saying.
Have someone in their 80s, and you tell me they're as spry as they were years ago. Donald Trump just sat there and went on a rant 3-4 times saying that I was in charge of security at the Capitol. Over and over again he said. He was confused. He's gotten countries confused. Biden is confused. Why are we going to go and settle for this?
Point out what Biden is confused about. What was Biden confused about? I mean, you've heard Biden give speeches and whatnot. When have you heard him standing up confused? I mean, I have a problem remembering people's names, but I don't think that's a cause for calling me confused. do you understand? You know, I mean, sometimes I forget my own children's names. That's not, you know, that's human. But how in the world Trump confusing Nikki Haley with the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi? How he get that confused? Oh, man. His mind, as I told you, once I cast you in hell, that's it. Your misunderstanding is hell. The messenger told you that. Misunderstanding is the hell to man. The scripture says, as they did not like to retain the truth in their knowledge, then the truth, Allah, gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things that are not convenient. Huh? Everything, when something is not convenient for you, it's not good for you. Huh? How many times they done told him, you got to stop going off script, you got to start to, and what he do? Because his mind is telling him he knows better. They tried to tell him what to do last time that he got elected, and he did it his way and he got elected. Do you understand? So his success is what led him to adopting failure. You see? He didn't pay attention to people saying they hold their nose and vote for him. When people say they hold their nose, they know you're not qualified. But they was hoping that once you got in there, you would be a pleasant surprise to them and to everybody by moving to the center, if you understand, you know. But the man never was president of the United States. He was president of Trump supporters, period. And if you wasn't a supporter of his, it didn't make no difference if you was in the Republican Party. As far as he was concerned, you was a rhino. Do you understand? A Republican in name only. As all Republicans, they support Trump. That's what he's saying. That's his idea of the world. You know, if you're not with him, you against him. You know, don't offer him no correction because he's always right. And that's his thing. You see. And that would be fine if you could hear him argue with people and prove he's right. But how are you always right if you don't ever argue with nobody? Do you understand? I love arguing with people. So that I can show them that I'm always right. But anyway.
Can do better. We know that.
I do want to just put a fine point on this. Again, to be clear, you didn't misspeak yesterday when you said that he's no longer qualified to be president. You stand by that.
If you were going to hit our military, you are not qualified to be president. Period. Because anybody that will mock our military, anybody that will go and put them in harm's way by saying you're going to side with Russia, you are not protecting our men and women in the military.
So you would not still support him at this point, based on what he said about the military in recent days?
I am telling you, why don't you ask him the question? Why isn't anybody asking him to respond and defend himself? Because he's not. Y'all look at me for something. Why aren't you asking him? Why aren't you asking him if he is qualified to be president after mocking the military?
To be fair, I think the former president might say, doesn't seem to matter a whole lot. They're still showing up to vote for me. They're still showing up at my rallies.
I don't know. If you don't ask him, you're never going to know.
He just, see, she ain't paying attention. She trying to get off Monday. But the fact of the matter is, what Craig Melvin said was true. To the people who support him, they don't care if he does not respect the military. Do you understand? Because they don't, look, when you still flying a rebel flag in a country where that flag was flown to try to overthrow the government, and you still flying that flag, you obviously hate this government. You see, because I'm going to tell you something. It ought to be against the law for you to fly that flag in this country. And if I see you driving down the highway with one of them flags on, I'm going to cast you into hell and you ain't going to even know what hit you. Now, I'm just telling you. Because that's what the Holy Quran says. The chastisement shall come upon them from whence they perceive not. And so I done warned you. I see a rebel flag, whoever driving that vehicle, I'm just going to say to hell with whoever's in there. And I'm going to say amen, amen, and amen. Matter of fact, everybody that's still flying that flag, to hell with all of you. Amen, amen, and amen. Now, I said that once before. I'm going to say it again. Because some of you might not have heard it. Now, stop flying it, and everything's good. Straighten yourself up.
if you got the audacity to walk around here and show me that if you had your way, I'd still be your slave, even after you done found out that we made you. We are your fathers. I'm your father. And you think that you should put me in slavery? After the truth has come? Okay. Why don't you man up and come in here and say that? Come on. Come on in here and tell me that I belong in slavery. Come on, I ain't got no guns or nothing. Yeah, come on. Just come on in here and let it all hang out. Tell me how you feel. I'll let you get it all out. Then I'm going to throw your behind in hell. What is it, son?
Yes, sir. Alvin says, so is Biden in hell because he agrees?
No, Biden ain't in hell. Biden in heaven. Biden with me. And I'm with him. And you say another word to me, I'm going to throw you in hell. Now print something else on there. Matter of fact, I don't want you to say nothing else to me until you offer me an apology. Asshole. Now print another word. You know, you got some people that I don't care how you try to show them respect and courtesy. They don't understand that until you put something on their ass. You let me know if he print another word to me. You know, I'm grateful dog. So, look, if you looked at these things, ain't nothing up here that I didn't purposely put up here. Now, if you notice, that lion and that lamb, they right there together with each other. Now, depending on how you come in here, you'll either meet the lamb or you'll meet the lion. Now, I ain't starting nothing with nobody. You started it with me. If you don't like what I'm teaching, just go back out the room. You ain't got to be in here. The reason you hate Joe Biden is because he a better man than you. That's what you hate him for. You don't measure up to him.
What does your future look like in the GOP if you're not the nominee?
It's not anything I worry about. When you do something for the right reasons, the last thing you're worried about is your political career. That's not why I'm doing this. You don't take on a bully and think of your political career. You take on a bully.
Shit, her heart ain't in what she's saying. But she sure saying it. If she wasn't worried about her political career, why'd she come out supporting Donald Trump? Now, I tell you who wasn't worried about their political career. Liz Cheney, Dick Cheney, what's his name? Secretary Raffensperger. You got a lot of what's the young man's name? Adam Kinzinger. They wasn't worried about their political career. But her, you know, she a political prostitute. That's her. Just wait, just listen.
Don't want your kids to grow up in a country that's this divided. You take on a bully because you...
She served in the administration that pushed division. Too much you don't want your children to grow up in a country that's this divided. Well, she helped divide the country. The arsonist pretending to be the firefighter. Ain't that something? That's wrong.
Any other American families to feel the stress, the anxiety, the depression, the anger, the division that has taken over our country. You don't take on a bully unless you saw the fall of Afghanistan. You saw what happened with inflation. You see that our kids are only 31% of 8th graders are proficient in reading. That's why you go and take on a bully. It's because you know that...
It's just like the boy talk about gas prices went down under Trump. You know why gas prices went down? It's the same reason why other products went down. It's because people was under lockdown in this country. And it wasn't in demand. The COVID had everything closing down. so when it's not, understand something. When the economy is good, inflation goes up. Prices go up. That's capitalism. That is the normal routine in capitalism. When the demand goes up for any product, then it becomes a seller's market. And the seller can raise the prices because everybody wants some. And so you raise the price. That's what they do. It's just like when everybody's working and everybody's spending money, well then they know they can boost the price on things. They can make more money off of stuff because people got more money to spend for the same merchandise. You see? And then when you get into a depression or get into a recession, as they call it, prices go down when stuff like this pandemic happened. The price on stuff went down except for medical stuff because the price went up because the demand was up. Masks was trying to get masks was, man, you had to pay good money for masks. Huh? Yeah. Making money off of the demand that people had. And even then, Trump could have did something about that by declaring a national emergency, and they have something in place where the president can declare and make the manufacturers start producing the needs of the country. But he didn't do that. You see, because he wanted to reduce the United States to nothing, like the USSR had been reduced to nothing. Do you understand? You see, Putin ain't never got over that, and Donald Trump is his friend, and so he told his friend, "I'll get you in there and help me let them see how it feels to disband your union." And so, but the Soviet Union was disbanded because of the lack of the people wanting to continue in it. They had people leaving the Soviet Union in droves, and some of the smartest people was leaving. That's why they built that wall in the first place, to keep people in. You know, because they couldn't compete with the West. You know, can't no dictatorship compete with a free enterprise system. So, you know, the only thing they could do is destroy the United States if they could, because they sure couldn't compete with them. These nuts that's walking around here with the Confederate flags, they spent so much time in their own little bubble that they hadn't paid attention to what they had here. You know, God gave them something and they tried to trash it. Say, imbeciles. You know, the whole world, they ain't got sense enough to see that everybody on the planet trying to get to America. Somebody from there trying to get here. Why? Because they want freedom. They want the freedom in reality that they saw offered on paper. And when you read the Constitution of the U.S., you have to admire that document, because it puts limits on what those who govern, it put limits on what they can do. And they can be held accountable for when they overstep the line. Do you understand? In dictatorships, the dictator, he can change the law anytime he get ready. Huh? And if you don't like it, you better keep your mouth shut. Because I sent my boys over there. That's what he do. He don't argue with you. He sent his henchmen over there to deal with you. You see, whenever people stoop to attacking you for your speech, or for something that you said that displeases them, when they decide that they need to jump on you or beat you up, it's because they could not win the argument against you. Do you understand? You see, if these people could, they'd have been done attack me and beat me up and did all kind of things if they could. But the ones who thought they could do that, most of them in the graveyard now. And a lot of the relatives of them know that I know what I'm talking about. Because, Allah ain't sent me here and told me don't be afraid of you if he is going to let you do something to me. No, Allah ain't going to let you do nothing to me. But he will let me judge you. So, now if I ain't nobody, why Elvin ain't said nothing else?
He just typed something.
What he typed?
He said, I thought we were allowed to have disagreements.
No, you didn't have no disagreement with me. You was throwing insults at me. And I told you, don't say nothing else to me without an apology first. Talking about you thought we was allowed to have disagreement. You ain't got no disagreement with me. You call yourself sitting up here playing with me. And I done told you, I ain't your toy, boy. Now if he prints something else that ain't an apology, you let me know. You might not have heard me the first time. Well, you heard me that time. Don't say another word to me without first telling me, son of man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend or whatever. It better be convincing. I know when people are jugging at me.
I'm not going to sleep at night, knowing I didn't do everything I possibly could to save this country.
What'd she say? She's not going to sleep at night. Not knowing that she didn't do everything that she possibly could to save this country. Save this country from who? Joe Biden? Is that what she claims she needs to save the country from? When Donald Trump was in there causing the deaths of people because he was misguiding them in COVID, where was she with her voice and her caring for the people? Was she sleeping at night? Lying heifer.
It's about service, public service. You lived it. You've also, in the past, sort of used that to explain why you stuck around in the previous administration. Hypothetically, if your former boss is the nominee again, would you serve in another Trump administration?
I don't want anything. I don't want vice president. I don't want anything.
Under those circumstances?
I don't want anything. You're missing the point. I've said this till I'm blue in the face. I am running against him, not for him.
Oh. Then why can't she just come out and say, I said he don't belong in the office, that he's not qualified for that office, and I will never support him. Why don't she come out and say that if she mean what she's saying? But you know she don't mean it.
And because yes, while I thought he was the right president at the right time then, I do not think he's the right president at the right time now. That's why I'm running. That's why I've defeated a dozen of them. Is because I know what the American people want. They want to be heard. They've been through a lot. They don't see enough money in their wallets. They don't see their kids reading. They see a border that's out of control, that one person can cause a 9/11 moment. They don't want their military members to go to war. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing this because we have to do something. We can't just sit back and let it happen. I will say this to the people of South Carolina and Michigan and Super Tuesday. In a general election, you're given a choice. In a primary, you make your choice. This is the time where we make our choice. Don't complain about what you get in a general election if you don't play in this primary.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch.
Wasn't that something? She just emphatically talked against Donald Trump.
I put my priorities on a president who's going to have the backs of our allies and hold our enemies to account, who would secure the border, no more excuses, a president who would support capitalism and freedom, a president who understands we need less debt, not more debt. Trump has not been perfect on these policies. I have made that clear many, many times. But Biden has been a catastrophe. So I will be voting for Trump.
There you go. Huh? You thought she wasn't in it for the politics. I told you, they ain't about nothing. You know, these people don't care nothing about this country. They care about having some power and some money. You know, and they sell they soul for power and money. And that's what they've done. Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Everybody who jump in bed with Donald Trump, they ain't, you know, it's kind of like you people who do drugs. All of them say, oh, well, that ain't gonna happen to me. You know, when they see the end of it. But every time you look up, it's happening to another one. Them that said it wasn't gonna happen to them, I can handle it. That's what it said. What's the first rule in dealing with the devil? See, when you make deals with devisers of illusion, when you make deals with liars, then you know what you asking for it. Because whatever a liar tell you, he ain't gonna hold up to it. That's why he's called a liar. You see? And so we call that mentality devil, deviser of illusion. That's what a lie is. When you look at something and interpret what you're looking at, not based on fact, but on fiction, then your mind is a deviser of illusion. Your mind is making you see something not as it is, but as you think it is. Do you understand? You see? So you are in a false reality. So now, you know, I mean, she just told you she's voting for Donald Trump. After all that talk, I'm running against him, and I ain't running for him, and I ain't doing. Now, listen to this.
Think of what our nation would be with no Russia-Ukraine war, no October 7th disaster in Israel, and the Middle East it's inflamed right now. It's inflamed like nobody's seen it for 50 years. No inflation and energy dominance. That's what we have, energy dominance.
You see all them empty chairs out there? Okay.
We have no inflation. We have neither the Middle East nor the Russia, Ukraine. What a different world it would be, wouldn't it be? We can't let them cheat our elections anymore. We will rebuild our cities, including Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. Right now we have a capital that when you go down the which is being hurt about something. And we will keep the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. We're losing that.
Now look, is discussing Trump's crowd size the most important thing in the world? Absolutely not. Is it worth talking about anyway because his crippling insecurity means that he can't handle the fact that his rallies are boring? Abso-fucking-lutely. This was from Donald Trump's latest rally when he was campaigning in the must-win swing state of New York. I'm not here to give Donald Trump's campaign any advice, but you're not flipping New York. And right now you are losing in polling in nearly every battleground state. But hey, I feel like Manhattan is just about ready to flip red, Donald. Keep it up. And while Trump filled up the auditorium at the beginning of his rally, it didn't take long before you can see people begin to pour out of the building. Which reminds me of a certain something that Kamala Harris said at the debate.
And I'll tell you something, he's going to talk about immigration a lot tonight, even when it's not the subject that is being raised. And I'm going to actually do something really unusual, and I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies, because it's a really interesting thing to watch. You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom. And I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you.
And of course, that struck such a chord that this is the meltdown that ensued.
First, let me respond to the rallies. She said people start leaving. People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there, and then showing them in a different light. So she can't talk about that. People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics. That's because people want to take their country back. Our country is being lost. We're a failing nation. And it happened 3.5 years ago. And what's going on here, you're going to end up in World War III, just to go into another subject. what they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame. As far as the rallies are concerned, as far as the reason they go is they like what I say. They want to bring our country back.
So yeah, if you're wondering whether Donald Trump is just a tad bit sensitive on this topic, I think you got your answer. And if you're wondering whether that's why I'm taking a slight detour away from my normal videos to cover this, well, I'll just leave that up to you. Granted, we shouldn't be surprised that Donald Trump is especially delicate these days. Crowd size is and always has been one of the only things that Trump cares about. He doesn't care about policy or governing or legislation. He wants attention and adulation from his adoring fans. That's it. So for him to now be losing that, well, that's not exactly sitting well with him. And I don't think it helps that Kamala's rallies also look a little bit like this.
So Arizona, bring that joy with you. Bring those smiles, bring that positive future as you join me in welcoming the next President of the United States.
In fact, Kamala's rallies are so popular that Trump is taking to claiming that they must be AI. Trump took to Truth Social to declare that a rally that was televised, photographed, and even live streamed by me was apparently all fake, writing, "Has anybody noticed that Kamala cheated at the airport? There was nobody at the plane, and she AI'd it, and showed a massive crowd of so-called followers, but they didn't exist. She was turned in by a maintenance worker at the airport when he noticed the fake crowd picture, but there was nobody there. Later confirmed by the reflection of the mirror-like finish on the vice presidential plane. She's a cheater. She had nobody waiting, and the crowd looked like 10,000 people. Same thing is happening with her fake crowds at her speeches. This is the way Democrats win elections, by cheating. And they're even worse at the ballot box. She should be disqualified because the creation of a fake image is election interference. Anyone who does that will cheat at anything." I'm not sure whether Donald Trump just hates his supporters that much that he's now trying to dupe them with the most easily debunkable lie.
See, by now, you all realize that where Donald Trump gets these ideas of what to say about his opponent. He just accused him of what he's been doing. Do you understand? I mean, you know, he paid people to come to his rallies to follow him around. You know, it just it's sad that some people are so in love with money that they don't care how they get it. You see, the problem with loving anything more than God is that love will make you do anything for that one or that thing that you love. You see? So you have to be careful what you fall in love with. Because, you know, you always want to be close to that which you love. You see? So, you know, I tell all of y'all, you better make up your mind where you stand. You know, don't let nothing come between us, and you'll be all right. So, all praise is due to Allah. This is I guess I'll let him finish here.
The history of the world? Or, worse, if he's actually that dumb that he believes the disinformation that he's spreading. But either way, not great when the guy running to gain control of our nuclear arsenal has worse digital literacy than a 9-year-old. And of course, that drew this response from Tim Walz.
You might have seen, yeah, things got pretty exciting for me over the last 10 days. But not just for me. If you didn't notice, a few people showed up in Philly last week. And then about 12,000 showed up, many thousands walking for miles in the heat to a field in western Wisconsin. Then at that time, the largest rally of the campaign showed up in Detroit, Michigan. Donald Trump said it was AI. You know what won't be AI? Their ballots come November will not be AI.
The only thing worse than embarrassing yourself by claiming that a 15,000 person rally was somehow fake is then getting called out for being that idiot in front of another 15,000 people. Well done, Donald. Well done. In fact, Walz didn't even stop there. Seeing that Trump's crowds have been a little bit thin these days, especially relative to the Harris-Walz rallies, Walz also had this to say.
Hey. Wow. Well, you might have seen a few people showed up in Philadelphia the other night. And then 10,000 plus walked into a field in western Wisconsin. And then on Wednesday, the largest crowd of the campaign showed up in Detroit, Michigan. It's not as if anybody cares about crowd sizes or anything.
I mean, honestly, Trump is so pathetic that if he wasn't such a miserable...
And he didn't, the sad part is, Mr. Walz is so, civilized, that even when he tells a joke, the one that he talking about probably didn't get the joke. But anyway, I think about people trying to belittle Joe Biden. Who chose Kamala Harris? So who gave her to you? Do you know how stupid you sound trying to, it's like people that try to talk about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad didn't teach true Islam. And they'll talk about Malcolm X, they'll talk about Farrakhan. Where did Farrakhan and Malcolm X come from? Where did the Son of Man come from? Well, how you gonna condemn him while at the same time you can't deal with me, who he raised up? He told you that this teaching that he was teaching would raise me up. Let me show you. I mean, this ain't no joke. This is something you better pay attention to. Boys and girls. Let me let you hear something here.
The sun is going down in the west. This teaching, as I hinted to you last Sunday, will rise a powerful sun of truth and the spirit of truth from this part of our planet. By us whom God has raised up among us. No more will you look toward the east after this for a light of truth to come. So the light of truth which the scientists of the east was not able to give you will come from the west. That will change the disposition of worship. You won't look to the west, nor to the east, nor north and south for wisdom. Everywhere you go, you will find it.
You notice, the internet didn't exist at the time he said this. But now you ain't got to go nowhere to find wisdom. All you have to do is just go to your computer in your house and find the Son of Man on there. And the wisdom is right here. We speak the wisdom of God in a mystery, but now the seventh angel is sounding and the mystery is being finished. Just like with any mystery novel, it ain't over until you find out who's who and who done it and all of that. Well, now you find out who's who and who done what and what. Huh? That's because the seventh angel or messenger is the messenger of the covenant. And that's me. The Lord whom you seek shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant. That's me. You see? That's why I opened the covenant and began explaining it to you. You see? And guiding you to the truth of it. As he said, this teaching will rise a powerful son of truth.
The sun is going down in the west. This teaching, as I hinted to you last Sunday, will rise a powerful son of truth and the spirit of truth from this part of our planet. By us whom God has raised up among us. No more will you look toward the east after this for a light of truth to come. So that the light of truth which the scientists of the east was not able to give you will come from the west. That will change the disposition of worship. You won't look to the west, nor to the east, nor north and south for wisdom. Everywhere you go, you will find it.
Now, many people will say, well, he was talking to everybody. Well, why you don't understand? Why I got to stand here and explain it to you? He said, you will no longer look to the east for the light of truth. For the light of truth, which the scientists of the east could not give to you, will come from where? From the west. This will change the whole disposition of worship. You won't look to the east, nor to the west, nor north or south. Everywhere you go, you will find it. I told you, people just come up to me and say things to me. I know who it is talking to me. Why? Allah is already all and in all. He speaks to whoever he please, whenever he please. Do you understand? And so I hear his voice. It's like the messenger heard it. As he said, he still speaks to me. He said, right directly the voice come to my ear, like a word come from you. He said, not by word alone, but just by hints. And I have learned those hints of various things. That's right. You know, sometimes I'll turn the television on. Some just turn on TV. And some there, Allah show me and say, show this to him. And it's just all kind of things. The truth is just everywhere. Allah is omnipresent. Allah is the truth. So I'm like that song. I've seen the lightning flashing and I've heard the thunders roll. Felt the breakers dashing, trying to conquer my soul. But I heard the voice of my Savior bidding me to still fight on. And he promised never to leave me. Never to leave me alone. And I relate to that. These people, what did Paul say? When I'm absent from this body, I'm going to be present with the Lord. He ain't going to be alone. When the Son of Man come, and all the holy angels going to be with him. Never alone. They follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. Do you understand? How you think people, what? You think that I'm the one that's got the power? Allah's the one with the power who have surrounded me in a circle of power. And so if I declare things, it's just like the judge. He's sitting up there, but the bailiffs and a whole lot of other officers are back there just waiting on you to clown. Do you understand? If when you clown, all he got to do is just say the word, and they deal with you. Huh? He ain't got to get up off the bench. All he got to do is say, confined 30 days. And the bailiff come get you. And if he need help, it's help. It's help out there. So all of the messengers of God, they paid the ultimate price to get this wisdom to me. And I'm not going to let them down. They knew that I would believe their report and that I would trust in their report because I am faithful. As they said, the Lord is faithful. Faithful means full of faith, full of trust. You think I'd be here in Mississippi talking about white people and how they done us and telling them the things I say to them if I didn't trust in what God said in this book? Ain't nobody came up to me and told me I'm the Son of Man. I got that out of this book. If they had to walk by faith, so do I. We walk by faith, not by sight. Yeah. I'm walking on the water. The word of God is spiritual water. And I trust on that. And I walk and I step out on it, on faith. No weapon formed against thee shall prosper. So what I look like jumping because I heard a backfire. And I used to do that before I joined into the nation. When I got back from the military, I was a nervous wreck. And I had never been like that when I was in the war zone. Then got back here, and it just came on me one day. And every time I'd hear something explode like a gun or a backfire that sound like a gun, I just got weak and just almost like to pass out. But it was time for me to get to the nation. So Allah ran me into the nation. And when I accepted him, all my fear left. That was that. I trust in Allah's word. You could drop an atom bomb next to me. I ain't going to flinch. Because Allah said it ain't going to hurt you. He said, no weapon that's formed against you shall prosper. That's what he said. So I learned a lot of things, from experience. But I don't fear the things that seem to frighten so many other people. What I fear is causing harm to someone who don't deserve it. I don't ever want to be the cause of nobody's downfall because of my stupidity. You see? Why you think I warn people so much? You know, and even when they say things like that, brother, he know that he wasn't arguing with me. He didn't have no argument. He was insulting me. I'm talking about I thought I could. You said people could come in and argue with you. You ain't been in here yet to argue with me. Just sitting up out there typing something. That ain't no argument. I tell you what, get a court date and see if they'll let you type in what you got to say and don't show up. You know that what you doing ain't arguing. You know it. Where you think I've been? You think I've been in isolation somewhere? I know how this world works. And if I know how it works, I know you know how it works. Coming in here lying to me. Anyway, I'm glad you didn't call yourself testing me. So I meant what I said. Okay. I think it's almost 11 o'clock. I gotta let y'all go. Did anybody have something they wanted to ask me before I let you go? Well then, anytime you live in a house and you don't think God should bless that house, there's something wrong with you. That's just is you know, who gets on a plane and don't pray for the safety of the plane? What? I don't care if some prisoners is on there with me. I pray for the safety of the plane, cause I'm on that. Do you understand? You know, it's just crazy how people, you know, just don't understand that you ain't got no safety in a burning house. You gonna set the house on fire and go to sleep? You're crazy. Let's see. A lot of things I may be, but stupid ain't one of them. Oh, beautiful for heroes prove in liberating strife, who more than themselves this country loves, and mercy more than life. I'm talking about America, America. May God, Allah, may He goes refined with all your success. May it be in righteousness and every gain divine. In school we used to say, oh, beautiful, far spacious sky, for amber waves of green, whose purple mountains, they stand just like great majesty above the fruity plains. I'm talking about America. Ooh, Lord, America. My God, shed his grace on thee, just so he could crown your good in one great brotherhood. From sea to shining sea, America, ooh, America. May Allah shed his grace on thee, just so he can crown all the good in one great brother and sisterhood. From sea to shining sea. And we thank our Lord, we'll thank our Lord, from sea to shining sea. Yeah. This is a great day we live in. And it's a dreadful day. Because everybody got to answer for themselves. Whatever happened to you came from you. Is the result of you. Ain't what your daddy did, ain't what your mama did. It's what you did. You can't be no more just to people than that. You ain't gonna be blamed for what nobody did but you. You're not gonna be rewarded for what nobody else did but you. Now that's justice. Okay. May Allah bless us and keep us safe and in our right minds, and grant to each of us a peaceful and pleasant night's rest and sleep, a happy, peaceful, and pleasant morning's rise, and good health and well-being. May Allah's Salam Alaikum.
Conference recording. Stop.